morning and greetings from Northumberland. It is the 27th of May. It's a Thursday and the sun is just beginning to break through the clouds, as you can probably see over my right shoulder. Today we have a day with no saints. In this ordinary time we have an ordinary day, and the Gospel takes us to Mark chapter 10. We picked up St. Mark's Gospel where we left it off before Lent began. And the story today is the healing of blind Bartimaeus. We call him blind Bartimaeus because we have no other name, and it's a reminder that Jesus released him from blindness. There are a couple of things I'd want to say about this particularly, not just about the healing of a blind man, but what this says about our relationship with Jesus and what Jesus can do for us. First of all, Bartimaeus believes that Jesus can make a difference. So he calls out, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And the crowds don't want Jesus bothered, and they tell him to shut up. Sometimes we find the situation that people are in to be inconvenient and uncomfortable. And when we live in a world where there is so much poverty and so much distress, it can almost be overwhelming, and we want to close our ears to it. But God doesn't close his ears. And Jesus didn't close his ears to that call of Bartimaeus. And he says to Bartimaeus, "What do you want me to do?" And Bartimaeus says, "I want to see." And Jesus heals him. And Bartimaeus follows him on the way. What does that mean? Does that mean that Bartimaeus followed him for a day or two, or that Bartimaeus followed him as part of the wider group of disciples for the rest of his life? We don't know. But it seems to me that one of the things we can think about is what metaphorically being able to see means to us. Because I believe that Christians are called to see things in a different way. We live in a world that is full of cynicism, a world where people take decisions that seem to be based on a cynical view of others and of the world. And we only have to look at our newspapers this morning to see that being played out in the governance of a country. But Jesus calls us to look at situations and people in a very different way. When Jesus spoke to the rich young man, as we read a couple of days ago, he looked on him and he loved him. He looked on him and he loved him. And of course, this we understand is how God looks on us. God is as he is in Jesus, and therefore we have hope, said David Jenkins, one-time Bishop of Durham. We can see the way God looks at us because we see the way that Jesus looked at people. And he looked with love. And we are called, as followers of Jesus, to look out in the same way. That doesn't, of course, mean that we will always be naive or will be unaware of problems and difficulties and difficult situations and dynamics and relationships and all these things. But it does mean that in all we are called to look at our neighbours in love. And love is not just an emotion, love is a decision. And the love that we can look at people with can only be truly consistent if we recognize God's love for us. Our spiritual blindness can only be removed by God. So today, with Bartimaeus, we pray that Jesus, that God, will let us see with the eyes of love, and also let us act with the eyes of love. May God bless us all.